On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, we're going to look at a Wi-Fi security issue and how to mitigate the problem. We're going to look at Tezos and how raising $232 million has not ironed out the problems of human interaction because some of the founders have fallen out, putting the project into a bit of a disarray. We're going to look at Bitfinex and how they're going to withdraw from the US market by the 9th of November. And we'll do the market roundup at the end and look at the Bitcoin and the altcoin price charts. So all of that coming up on today's episode of the Cryptoverse. Let's get right into it. You thought the intro was coming then, didn't you? It's not happening. So the first article here, this comes from the Coin Journal. I've had this from various media outlets. So it's modern Wi-Fi networks are vulnerable and impact on Bitcoin wallet security is an issue. So most wireless routers, they encrypt the information between the devices they communicate and itself through a technology called WPA2. So it says here, earlier this week, Matthew Venoff of the IMEC DistrictNet research group discovered serious weaknesses and vulnerabilities in WPA2, a protocol which is used to secure all modern Wi-Fi networks. It says here, CNET executive editor Roger Cheng explained, quote, "The bad news is pretty much every Wi-Fi enabled device is vulnerable. The good news is that it is local. The hacker has to be near the Wi-Fi network," close quote. So that means they cannot attack a wide area of people in one go. You have to be within range of the wireless router that is affected, right? Now, it says here, in order to prevent these attacks targeted at Wi-Fi networks, and prevent them from revealing like passwords and information that is transferred between the router and the device, such as PIN numbers, Bitcoin wallet addresses, that kind of stuff. It's important that users enable multi-layer two-factor authentication for maximum protection. However, it says, generally, Bitcoin wallet developers and experts recommend users avoid two-factor authentication via SMS. So SMS isn't really two-factor authentication because you have the telecoms company involved, and doing a SIM hack isn't that difficult. So someone could steal your mobile phone number, transfer it to a different SIM card, and then have the one-time password, the two-factor authentication thing, sent to an alternative phone, and thereby get into your accounts. So that's why you do not want to use SMS for this kind of thing. You want to use the Authy app, or the Google Authenticator app, or even elsewhere in the article it talks about Trezor, the hardware wallet. They're recommending you use a hardware wallet and using something called U2F, which is using a hardware wallet as the two-factor authentication, so that then you don't have any way of losing the password, because Authy, for example, if you have the app installed on your phone, there is a backup password, like a recovery password for Authy itself. So if that's compromised, kind of like your your recovery seed for a Bitcoin wallet, that's almost like if you compromise that, it bypasses all the security entirely. So with a hardware wallet, you'd be able to log in with that, and then that would be ideal because you'd have to have physical possession of the hardware wallet. Now, I'm not too worried about this particular vulnerability because I use this thing, private internet access. It's a VPN, a virtual private network. So I have it running on my computer, and this adds another layer of encryption to the whole thing. So because it's an app on my computer, it encrypts the information on my actual device and then sends it, over the wireless network, say, to the router, and then goes out to the internet. So even if the WPA2, the wireless protection and encryption, was compromised, the information that the hacker picked out of the air would still be wrapped in another layer of encryption. So that wouldn't cause me any problem at all. So when I've been like at the airports, or right now where I'm at the hotel in Oslo, I'm not worried about this at all, right? The WPA thing does need to be solved, but if you run a VPN, that's just one of the reasons I recommend everyone runs a VPN anyway, because you take in full responsibility for your computer security. And I've been using this privateinternetaccess.com for coming up to a year, I'd say. And I have been very happy with it. It just works, sits there in the background, and it just works. And you can use it on your phone, on your various devices. Pretty good stuff. And it's not that expensive either. Moving on to the Tezos story. So Tezos raised $232 million in a hot coin offering, and then a fight broke out. This is an article from the Wall Street Journal. And props to Wall Street Journal. They haven't skimped on this article. It's a very long article, so they've put in the work with this. It says here, one of the largest initial coin offerings, a $232 million token sale by the name of Tezos, is embroiled in a management fight that is threatening the deal and highlighting the risks in this red-hot corner of finance. So like I said in the intro, raising $232 million, that comes with its own problems, which is money sends people crazy sometimes, and disputes over how the money should be used is something that happens when you've got a great big pile of money. So it says here, the fight at Tezos is between the husband and wife team that started the deal and the founder of the non-profit organization they tapped to control the project. So Kathleen Brightman and her husband, Arthur, run the primary company developing Tezos, which wants to improve blockchain ledger technology through software. And then they've added this foundation, the Tezos Foundation, to create some independence. Now it says a lawyer representing the Brightmans on Sunday sent a 9-page letter to the foundation's board demanding that the foundation's founder and president, John Jervers, be removed, or they would withdraw their support from the project. So yes, that's definitely brinksmanship, is what you call that. So in an email, the founder of the foundation wrote back, quote, "The Brightmans have attempted to bypass the Swiss legal structure and take over control of the foundation, and they've acted destructively, causing months of delays in the Tezos project." Close quote. Now it says further down here, the release of the production version of Tezos platform may not come until February, more than 6 months after the money was raised last July, according to Ms. Brightman. And the reason why we need a production version of Tezos is because then the tokens will be tradable. It does say here that there is a bit of pre-trading going on in a pre-launch market, but with some limited liquidity. And then it says the money that was raised in the deal is currently with the foundation in their bank account, and the proceeds are in the process of being converted from virtual currencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum into government-backed currencies. So there you go. We're not sure how much of it, mind you. I was going to say there that $232 million of Bitcoin and Ethereum are being liquidated, but that's not enough really to bother the liquidity of either of those coins. I mean, look, the last 24 hours, $500 million worth of Ethereum has been traded. So if you sold $232 million worth of Ethereum, that might hurt. But with Bitcoin, 2.3 billion has been traded in the last 24 hours. So even if you sold $200 million worth of Bitcoin, it would be bad, but it wouldn't be that bad, right? So yes, what do you think of that? I didn't participate in the Tezos crowdfund, and I haven't been following the project too closely at all, just because there were a couple of aspects of it that I didn't like. A bit too corporate, not really following the true spirit of cryptocurrencies in a lot of ways, but I'm not getting into that right now. I'm not discussing Tezos on this particular project. On this particular episode, I mean, not project, what am I talking about? Anyway, moving over to the Merkle for this article called Bitfinex confirms the US market departure by the 9th of November. So US regulations strangles yet another company and drives them out of the country. So it says Bitfinex has officially announced it will exit the US market as early as November the 9th. This is a major development in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, even though the long-term impact should be minimal. Come November the 9th, Bitfinex will end all deposits and withdrawals and trading for all US individual customers. And it also goes on to say here, it is advised all US customers withdraw their money and tokens before the cutoff date. It does mean, here it says, that the largest global exchange by trading volume will need to be replaced in the rankings. So this will leave a reasonably large vacuum for any upcoming exchange or rival or competitor to fill. I don't find it much of a coincidence that today I'm doing this talk on decentralized exchanges, So it comes right on the back of this news, whereas regulation is the problem. Regulation is probably the number one reason why we need decentralized exchanges, right? So this kind of thing doesn't happen. I mean, this is a preventative measure on the part of Bitfinex. They are front running it. They don't want to be forced out. They are moving out themselves so that they don't have to get into any legal wranglings, right? So moving on to the end of the show with the market roundup, we have two big fallers today. In the top 10, we have Ripple down 6.5% to 21 cents a coin. Ripple just chilling there on $8.2 billion of market cap. Right below that, we have Bitcoin Cash, also a big loser of the day, down 8.71% to $330. We'll double check the price on that on the charts in 1 second. Bitcoin Cash chilling with a $5.5 billion market cap. We have a few gainers today. We have NEM, biggest gainer in the top 10, up 4.31%, 22 cents if you want to buy a NEM token, and $1.98 billion of market cap. In the top 30, the biggest winner would be 10x. Down here, it's raised 8.92% in the last 24 hours, up to $2.03 a coin, and a market cap of $212 million. That's enough to keep it in 29th place. And we have a really crazy coin today. Right down here, we have in 86th place, we have Unobtainium. It's up 435.7% in the last 24 hours. An Unobtainium token is now worth $266. This all happened on just $2 million worth of trading volume, and the overall market cap for Unobtainium is 52.6 million. That's million, not billion. So that's not a lot of trading volume to push it up by 400%, but there must have been a pretty good consensus on which way the market wanted it to go. You know, I tried to get myself some Unobtainium, but I couldn't manage to get my hands on it, unfortunately. Right, moving on to the chart reading. You see here on the Bitcoin chart, if you're looking at this on YouTube, yesterday the price attempted to crash. It kind of did crash for a little while. It went right down to 5,114, but it quickly recovered. I mean, that's quite shocking to me. At least that was a phase 2. At least when I say there was a pullback, there was actually a pullback, but it didn't last long. This is a great big hammer candle with a very long tail. And now it's kind of sitting at indecision around 5,500. So that's been a pretty good level. Looking at the tails of the candles, everything's either been above that or on that level, except for the brief visit below that yesterday down to 5,114. So that would have been a good opportunity to snatch some Bitcoin. Yesterday when we spoke on the show, it was sitting on my support level of 5,226. So it still went almost $100 below that, and then shot right back up again. So not too bad at all, that. So price pretty stable in the world of Bitcoin. Let's look at Ethereum once again. It's still pretty low to the ground here, closer to $300 at 306. And the range that I think it's going to be trading in for the short term would be $296 at the bottom, and then to $320 at the top. The other recent resistance level that we bounced off was 352. So the widest trading range would be $352 at the top and $296 at the bottom. Okie dokie, and thanks very much for joining me today, guys. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new around here, get subscribed. And if you would like access to my very best material, such as my structured online courses that will teach you things like how to make and save money with Bitcoin, check out cryptoversity.com. All right, guys, I'm going to go to the venue and do my talk about decentralized exchange. There is a live stream, if you want to tune in. It's on the BitSpace YouTube channel. So it's BitSpace, B-I-T-S-P-A-C-E, BitSpace. If you find their YouTube channel, I believe that is where they're going to be live streaming it. So I'm on at about 1:30 p.m. So you'll have to look up Oslo time to figure out when that is for you. But if you want to tune in and watch my talk on decentralized exchange as fast as possible, that's the name of the talk, then feel free to do so. All right, guys, That's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.